Hope you are enjoying your day. We're looking at USA versus Europe, Guide to Cultural Differences. It has been suggested probably over a dozen times. Finally getting to this from a channel called Honest Guide. This will be linked in the description down below so you can check out the whole thing and check out their channel as well. Let's look at some differences. Here we go.
Complaining about the fact that the waiter simply asked them, "You want a beer?" The waiter brought the beer, and then once the person was finished, they brought another beer. And this guy was complaining about it. What is he talking about? That's the best thing. Once you're finished with your beer, they bring another one. So for me, from the perspective of a Czech European, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
For an American, that may be kind of weird or rude.
That's funny. Yeah, that definitely depends on the person. But I would be thrilled. Once my beer's done, they got another one like on the way. Sign me up.
So today we want to talk about cultural differences between our country, our city, and United States of America.
Cool. I like how this takes place in Czechia or the Czech Republic. Which one is it? I've seen both. Sorry. That's pretty cool because I've heard that I've seen like a list of facts before, and it did mention that the Czech Republic was I think the biggest consumers of alcohol in the world per capita or something. Don't know if that's true, but it sounds pretty cool. And of course, they have some pretty awesome things I've learned about in past videos, like Skoda rally cars, big Tatra trucks. Yeah, they're pretty cool.
First of all, you may be surprised what the beer looks like. Well, we have a video
that looks
dedicated
delicious.
to that. And second, when I walked in, I didn't look at a beer menu or something.
The foam is really thick on that. Here, I'll have to actually watch that video on my own time sometime. Because he did mention he has a video on that. The foam is really minimal, like just a thin layer at the top here. That was like half of it was foam, and it makes it look delicious. I imagine it tastes delicious as well.
I think that may be quite common in the United States where you have different beers on tap.
Yes.
Most pubs and restaurants in Czech Republic will have one brewery on tap in the pub. So that's why you can walk in and just say, "I'll have one." So I kind of like that.
That's
you walk into a pub and you don't have a million choices, you just say one. In US, not only you have a choice of beers that are on tap, quite often there's 5, 10, 20.
Oh yeah, some places go crazy with the beer. I mean, like this, you walk in and it's like, I like having choices because that's fun, who wouldn't? But at the same time, it can get a little overwhelming, like, whoa, where do I start here, right? I don't even know what to choose from. It's almost overwhelming.
But also, they will ask you, do you want draft or bottle? What kind of question is that? The reason you go to a pub is to get beer on tap, to get draft beer.
I agree.
If you want bottled beer, you go to a supermarket.
Yep.
So for us, that's a big cultural difference that quite often we don't understand.
Yeah, he's right. That is it just makes sense. You go there, you're going to get draft. If you wanted a bottle, you can go down to the supermarket, the gas station, whatever. So I totally get what he's saying there. But he is correct that even though like me or some Americans might go for draft every time as well, the bartender or whatever employee might ask you, the choice, which is just kind of funny, right? I mean, some people get bottles. I'm not really sure why, but hey, whatever
beer here
floats their boat.
55 crowns. Let's call that $2.50 to round it up.
Oh, that's
if you go to a stadium,
stellar.
A sports event here in Prague, it's going to cost around $3.
That's really good.
Nothing like that in U.S. If you go to a pub,
if you go to a stadium, like if I'm going to a White Sox game, I'm going to be paying like $9 for a cup of beer like that. Yeah, it's bad.
It may cost $5, $6.
Yeah.
You go to a stadium and it can cost $10, $15, even $20.
Yeah,
Honza
for real.
hates it. Whenever he goes to a sports event, he's always shocked with the price of the beer.
Yeah.
I myself, when I travel to US, I usually don't go to sports events, but I like amusement parks. And just recently, I visited Universal Studios.
Cool.
It was the most expensive beer I ever had in my life. $15.
Damn, that's ridiculous.
Now, I understand.
Now, let me make a point. So I've had a lot of instances, live streaming or just talking in videos, comments, where a lot of other countries, that I have an audience in, beer and alcohol in general is cheaper here, but under one condition. If I go to the supermarket, I go to a liquor store, wherever, beer is really, really cheap here. So I can get, 6 or 12 pack of bottles or cans or whatever, and it's usually very, very cheap. But then on the flip side, you have a reverse culture shock of if you go to a social event. So like he said, a baseball game, football game, you go to an amusement park like Disney or Universal or wherever, then all of a sudden it's the opposite. You're still in the U.S., but you have like this total 180. Everything is expensive as heck for alcohol and food and everything. So on one side of the coin, beer is really cheap here in the right places. On the other side, it's really expensive, apparently way more expensive than Europe in this case. It sounds like socially at the pub, at sports events, you can drink for relatively cheap in Europe, and that sounds pretty cool.
That going to amusement park, you don't go there for beer, you go there for the rides, but still $15?
Right. Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Receipt. Now, the price of the beer, as I said, at the amusement park was $15.
Then tax.
But I was asked to pay more than $16.
Yeah.
Why? It said $15.
I know.
Well, tax was not included. What is this about?
Actually, it's mind-blowing for me because, like, when I was younger, basically my whole adolescent life till I was in my 20s, obviously I have not gotten to travel the world. I wish I have already, but I didn't know that was a thing everywhere else, that what you see is what you pay. Here, it's like a goofy mind game. I don't know who made it that way. Us as Americans, as a consumer, we don't like it either. People that travel here and are like confused and kind of pissed off, like, what is this about? We feel the same way. I hate it too. I wish it would just be the final price. The whole guesswork thing is really annoying.
We go to a place, and I'm not only talking restaurants, but any store, shop, and the price tag is the final price you pay.
See?
It says 55
I like that.
here, it's gonna cost 55.
I like that.
They include the tax. Why don't you do that in US?
I really don't know.
Sad. In any place, you can get some food, right? Mostly you pick something from the menu and no further questions will be asked. Well, in US, quite often they will ask you how you want it customized. Do you want bacon? Do you want that cheese?
Yes.
Do you want this cheese? Do you want this or that and that? It gets quite confusing for us.
Ooh,
and
okay.
You can imagine me being 11 years old in US, in New Jersey, first walking to a restaurant, ordering a burger, very much looking forward to it. And they asked me, how do you want your burger done? I said, I don't know, very well done, thinking that they would make it completely. Yeah, you can imagine what happened. They brought this black piece of meat that was unedible. And all my friends had a laugh about it. Now,
That's funny. That is funny. I guess I could see that being a problem for someone not used to that, like in his position. To me, that makes this one, I'll take the American side. That makes perfect sense. I like that you can tell them exactly what you want, what side you want, what toppings you want or don't want on the burger or whatever, right? I think it makes perfect sense you're going there as a customer, you're choosing to give your business to that restaurant. You want your food exactly how you want it. It's their job to sell you the food and prepare it to make a good experience, right? So I think that makes perfect sense. And then, of course, asking you how you want it cooked. Again, some people prefer it just cooked enough, not charred, right? Well, some people like it, medium, and some people like it well done and pretty burnt. Everyone's different, right? Well, I can appreciate you having the option to customize it a little bit. I think that's kind of cool. But I can see it being a little bit of I wouldn't say confusing, right? I think it would just be a little bit of a shock to someone coming here and not experiencing that before.
Be fair, if you go to a restaurant in Prague nowadays and you will have a burger, they will ask you how you want it done. But once again, the fact that you can customize anything at a restaurant in US is very uncommon for us here. So if you come to a pub or a restaurant in Czech Republic, don't expect that you can customize every single item on the menu. That's why there's a menu with things that you pick from.
I get what he's saying, but I'm going to politely disagree and say I think you should be able to go in, choose a base item and then customize it. I think that's better.
From the United States, we love you guys. So to say something that we consider to be amazing in US that we don't have here is water. Free water at a restaurant, at a bar, anywhere.
Yes, water should be free, man. Water, you need water to survive all living things. Water is free here. And I think that's how it should be.
You sit down at a table, and in US,
you get water no matter what.
Water. never happens in the Czech Republic
Oh,
ever.
okay.
Not only that,
Wow.
if you ask
That's
for
too bad.
tap water, quite often they will say, no, we don't serve tap water. And you will get a tiny little bottle of water that you will
Wow.
pay for $2, $3, $4. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Come on, Europe. What's up with that? That's, well, I don't know if that's across all of Europe. This is in the Czech Republic. Come on, guys. That's kind of weird. You should get free water.
Service in restaurants and pubs, because that may be a bit of a shock for you.
Yeah,
when
this
you come
one's
to
going to be
Prague.
different, I know,
Yes,
from
quite
what I've
often
heard.
it is rude and not polite at all. That's also a huge difference for us when we go to US, and a waitress will come to our table and she will introduce herself and she will smile and she will maybe recommend something from the menu. That would never happen here. I mean, it's changing, don't get me wrong. Service is getting better, but if you go to like a local place, a dive bar, which I would consider this place to be, quite often they'd be grumpy, and it takes
Okay.
a long time for them to get to know you, and after maybe a 20th visit, they will share a little smile with you. Not like the US. First time visitor, oh, I love coming you to our restaurant. My name is Wendy. Can I take your order? Hey, Wendy. Speaking of
Okay, so this one would be the hardest, I think. If I was in Europe or Australia or wherever where I've heard that, the service is just at base level, they do what they need to, and they don't, smile and chat and go above and beyond, so to say, that would be a little shocking to me. I think maybe we take that for granted here in the United States. Like, I don't really think about it much, but if I went somewhere else and the service wasn't like that, no customization of the food, no over-the-top, questions and service and stuff, I think I would actually miss it a little bit. I mean, I understand either side. I understand over-the-top service having more of an experience and more of an exchange between you and the employee. And then at the same time, I also understand wanting to go order what you want and not be bothered. I can see both ways. But for the most part here, you'll get above and beyond service towards the beginning, and then they'll leave you alone, right? So I think I still like that about how we do that.
Wendy,
here.
when I was first called darling or honey in a restaurant in US, I was like, she really loves me. She just calls me darling. I like that. I mean, I like the bartender here, but he never calls me darling. Let's make it stay that way, okay?
Yeah.
We're tough guys. Even though the two of us consider
This is a good video. This guy's got a good lookout on things,
very
man.
good and very nice and very polite, there is one thing that we consider to be very rude.
Uh-oh.
And that is, you're finishing your meal or maybe you're halfway through and suddenly a bill lands on your table. What is that? Are you kicking me out? That would never happen here.
Now, I know this depends on the restaurant, maybe even the region, I'm not sure. This is something I don't experience, and let me explain. I don't experience this so hard that usually we are done eating and the kids are getting rowdy and stuff, and I can't even find our waiter anywhere to be seen. They don't come around, and I'm like, we need the bill, so eventually I have to get up and find someone and track them down and say, hey, we need the bill, we got to go. So that's kind of funny because that never happens to us when we go out.
Any business, restaurant, pub, coffee place tries to keep you in the place as long as possible.
see it happening here and
Let's
there.
dive into tipping. And that can create some big issues because that's a big cultural difference.
It is.
In US, quite often we get asked, do you want to tip 15, 18, 20, 25%?
Right.
Which for us is like, whoa, that's a lot. A quarter of the bill just tips?
And this, we've covered so many times in this channel, it's almost like exhausting at this point. I don't know when and if it'll ever change. I don't know what needs to be done. I do think the tipping thing is flawed here because over time, I'm the kind of person, I guess I'm nice. Like I feel I would reward above and beyond to provide good service, to be friendly, to get our order right. That has value to me. So if it was acceptable, I would still tip them even if it wasn't required, at least something to show my appreciation. But the whole tipping out of necessity thing, I agree. I think it's totally flawed. I really don't get it either. I think they work at an establishment, that manager, that company, that restaurant, they need to pay their employees. It's not my job to pay your employees. So I think that is definitely flawed and kind of ridiculous. And then there's the whole argument that needs to go away. And then there's I think it's definitely less people, but there are some people I've heard, bartenders or waiter and waitresses, and some of them, I mean, this is pretty rare, but I've heard of some of them doing really well, like making 6 figures a year because they get a lot of tips. They work a lot, they get a lot of tips, and they love it. So I don't know. Like, I really can't comment too heavy on that side of it because I've never worked in a restaurant, but it's definitely weird, and I realize it's different than most of the rest of the world.
And coffee culture differences between USA and Europe. Triggered already?
Coffee culture?
Triggered more.
Everything's to go here.
In Europe,
that's what he's going to say.
Do not consider this to be a cup of coffee. That's a gallon of coffee. If it's more than a gallon, it's not coffee. This is a cup of coffee. By the way,
oh
shocker,
my God.
They have a cup of coffee in this cup. It's
so
served
small.
in a ceramic cup. It's this size. You have
What?
a plate under it. It makes that little noise when you put it down. You sometimes even get a spoon with it so you can mix your little espresso. And this is how you drink it. Not a gallon.
Oh my God, that is too funny. Oh, I'm just not going to say anything because he is right. These are totally different. And I'm sorry, you saw me laugh. I think that's so funny, the little cup of coffee. That is not the way here
drive and
at
sip
all.
on your little coffee soup throughout the day. Big difference, big shocker for us when we go to places in US and they simply don't serve something.
I'm sorry, that would be very interesting to experience, I bet, as a European who look at the cup he's holding. If that's what you're used to for coffee, and then you come and go to Dunkin' or Starbucks or Dutch Bros or whoever and you get a big honking huge cup of coffee, I imagine that is a hell of a shock. Like, that must be surreal.
The difference may sound weird, but I believe it should be addressed. And that is restrooms and toilet sizes in restaurants and pubs. And I'm not talking about the actual seat size, but I'm talking about you have a big pub and there's one toilet. There's like one restroom for the entire pub where there's like hundreds of people.
That depends. Some of them have huge restrooms, but he's right. There are some big places, and you walk like a long way to find the bathroom, and you find it, and there's one, like you said, one stall in there. It's like, ooh, how is this going to work? There's a lot of people here. Yeah.
And the stalls where you
are
can
not private.
Sit to number
they're
two
horrible.
Are very like see-through.
Yeah.
Like there's no privacy.
No.
Like there's no door at the bottom.
I
like,
hate
if somebody
that too.
Peeks, they can see you. Yeah, it's kind of strange. And girls,
I tend to avoid the bathroom in public as much as I can because it's just not pleasant.
talk about that a lot. Both our girls talk about it, how like it's kind of weird that people can really see you. So that's a big difference. If there's a big pub here, it has many restrooms, many toilets.
That's smart.
And it can, do the business people need. And
look at that. Oh, that is so freaking cool. Look at how fancy that looks and how private it is. It's like its own little room for each toilet. And you're probably laughing right now if you're watching this in Europe or wherever and your bathrooms look like this. For me, that is so foreign. That is super cool. Why don't we have it like this? Okay, Europe wins on this. 1,000,000%. This bathroom is a public restroom that I would actually feel okay with going to. Like, I would feel semi-comfortable in there. You got your own space. It's like nice looking, not like ugly looking, right? And it's private. This is how it should be. On that note, we're going to end it there. I cannot wait to see the comments on this one. Lots of interesting points to agree on and disagree on. And I hope you enjoyed this. This was an excellent video. We skipped around just a little bit. So if you want to watch the whole thing, please click the link down there and check them out. Absolutely excellent stuff on this one. The bathrooms were my favorite part. I think you can see that by the ending there. And the funniest difference, even though there were a lot of interesting ones, would of course be like the coffee one got me. That was hilarious. That's about it, guys. Throw a like on there if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to be part of this amazing community. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, we'll catch you later.